Welcome into today's broadcast right here at Cog Hill Farm. Now, Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the house for this episode, so here's Jason, Brooke, and our chicken master, Marycarl.
What is up, everybody? This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast. This is our first podcast at the 40. We made a makeshift podcast studio out of the canned ham, the little camper. If you do hear some background noise, that is the air conditioner. We ain't got no choice. We have to run it, especially.
How about you stop and make sure it's recording and make sure
it is recording. I see the red
I just want to make sure everything's going right because this is a spur of the moment kind of thing.
I see this is on working, and I see the record going up there, so we're good.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I can't see what the timing is, so. Stop that. Today is Jason's granddaddy's 99th birthday.
He is 99 years young.
99 years young today.
Still gets around, still has his garden gets smaller and smaller, but he still has a little garden, has a little golf cart he rides around.
We were there over the weekend at the shop, which is next door to his house, and I said, "Hey, Granddaddy." And he was sitting on the golf cart, and he asked somebody that was there, "Who is that?"
Yeah.
Because his vision is just gone. He has no vision left. But he is able. Look, I have stuff coming through, and I wasn't supposed to. He is able to still walk. He's able to do what he wants to do without his sight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he wants to do more. I shouldn't say do what he wants to do, but. I went to town this morning and got him a peach cobbler.
He will be very happy.
I don't have the ability to cook a homemade one right now, so I let somebody else do the homemade cooking. And we're going to go over this afternoon and see Granddaddy, take time out of our busy schedule because he's 99. So back 99. To our moving.
Yeah, it's everything is being total chaos. I mean, everything.
It's been way worse than what I anticipated. However, when my stress level was at 10 and Jason's was at 0, I knew what was to come more so than he did.
Well, what I didn't expect is that we cleaned all the shop out, but there was things that we didn't know what to do with, and so it just sat in there. So 90% of the shop was cleaned out, 10% wasn't. 90% of the house was cleaned out, 10% wasn't. So we got 90% of the stuff done a week ahead of time. A week. The last 10% was just chaos. Absolute chaos. Because there was stuff that you had set to the side, said, well, I'm going to give this to so-and-so, I'm going to give this to so-and-so, this is going to go so-and-so. Well, when it got down to the end, we just threw it in the thing and brought it over here.
We did, and I knew in my mind that last little bit was going to be a disaster simply because when you're down to the wire, you've got stuff that needs to go here, there, and everywhere, and there's no time to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't anticipate it being exactly the way it was. I don't mean that. It was worse than what I thought.
It was way worse. The last week was horrible.
The last 2 weeks.
Last week for me, the last 2 weeks wasn't that bad. It was the last 5 to 7 days was just nothing seemed like it was going right. There was nothing went smoothly because it was just stuff here, there. There was a pile of stuff in the barn, and the barn wasn't cleaned out, even though we said the barn was cleaned out. The shop wasn't cleaned out, even though we thought it was cleaned out. The house wasn't done, even though the house wasn't done.
I knew it wasn't cleaned out.
And so it was just, it was just stuff everywhere. But that wasn't the hard part. The hard part was the fact that, if we were to got everything out, we didn't have time to clean up.
Yeah.
We had, we needed another 5 to 7 days, and everything would have been absolutely perfect.
Yeah, well, it didn't happen that way, and we're down to the last day, and my mama's TV's still hanging on the wall, which, it took time to get tools and remove the bracket or whatever that holds it. Just little things like that,
Well, little things like we brought all the shop, cleaned the shop out, brought it here, Then we're at the house and we're like, oh, we got to go get this down. Well, guess what? We don't have any tools.
No.
We brought all the tools over here.
I kind of, I kept saying to you that we need tools for this and tools for that. Well, we would get over there and then we wouldn't have the tools for this and tools for that we needed. And here you need sockets and you don't know what size because all our sockets were in a toolbox. They weren't in they were in like a big chest house type toolbox, not just a little carry socket set.
Right.
So everything was, oh my gosh, it was a disaster.
It was.
I thought I was going to lose it a few times. And you know that lady that said that she thought I was losing it? She could seek the future.
She could seek the future.
Because I literally just felt like I was losing it.
Yeah, we needed another 5 days at least. If we'd had 5 more days, it would have went absolutely perfect.
So everything was falling into place up to that point.
Yeah.
I mean, we felt like
everything was going
felt
well.
like we were doing something right in somebody's eyes because everything was falling right where it should. And
Yeah.
then at that last week, it was like everything was going the opposite way of what it should have been. From getting a notice on the dash of the truck that the tire is low on air. I mean, just little things one after another. Here
Yeah.
we are hooked up with a trailer with animals in it, and we've got a low tire.
Yeah, it was.
It was just everything that could happen did happen.
It felt like it, and then little stuff like the keypad on
The door.
the automatic gate.
Oh yeah,
quit
the
working.
automatic gate. The keypad on the automatic gate quit working. So
And this was days before the new family was coming, so we had to order it and get it there fast and get it programmed and going.
So we got bought a brand new one, put that in.
Bought a brand new one that put in, and then they asked about keys, and you're like, keys? What keys? Because we never locked the door. Where we're at was secluded and safe, and we never. And so
Not
you're
only did we
scrounging
not lock
around
our
locking
house
the door.
doors, we didn't lock our car doors either.
No, we don't lock car doors either. And so here you were scrounging around looking for keys for the door lock. Find the keys. Come to find out, the front door wouldn't lock anymore. So we got to get a new lock. And that happened a day before they got there.
Yes, we had a keypad type lock on the front door.
Yeah.
And the key to that was not the same as the rest of the doors.
Well, not only that, the keypad completely quit working.
And
I
we
don't know
just-
why. We never used it.
We had a lock that went to the system that was on the front door, so Jason just took that keypad system out and put the lock that went with the door,
Yeah.
which was perfectly fine.
It's a brand new deadbolt.
Brand new deadbolt, and
Mhm.
it had the same key as the mechanism that was already there. So once you changed that out, that eliminated that problem. And it was just little things
Little
that took
things
time.
like the last day they were on their way there. They were just a couple hours away, and so we left the blower. So I grabbed the blower because we were going to blow everything off. I get 10% done of blowing the carport. Well, I didn't even blow the carport. I went on the back deck and got 10% of the back deck blown, and it ran out of gas.
Well, my mom's out there sweeping, and I said, "Why are you sweeping when Jason's blowing?" And she said, "It ran out of gas." Marycarl was here at the camper.
Yeah.
We had some guys here doing some work, so she stayed here, and it just, we were in a rush to get back to where she was, and things just didn't go.
Well, we kept waiting to the last minute to move stuff here and there and move animals. And then, the chickens were going to be at night. So you get the chickens moved at night. Well, the next day is when they're coming. And I got started cleaning out the coops. And some other stuff got pushed forward. And I didn't even get finished cleaning it. It was just one thing after another. That if we'd have had 5 to 7 more days. 5 days. If we'd have had 5 days, it would have been. If we'd have had 3 days, but it could have been way better.
Well, I
It could have
feel
been
like
way
that
better.
we left in not the condition we wanted to leave it in. It was clean. I don't mean that.
Yeah, the
but
house was clean because the night
before our final night.
Yeah, I stayed there by myself, and y'all were here, and I stayed up to midnight making sure everything I cleaned. I just cleaned everything, just
Yeah.
because we've been in and out, even though we were keeping it clean. it still, the counters would get dirty again, or this would get dirty again. And I just went back through and just cleaned everything again. And it was
that night before the final night at the original Cog Hill, Marycarl and I stayed at the camper, and you stayed at the original Cog Hill. And Marycarl said, "Mama, it seems like Daddy doesn't want to be where we are, because when we're at the original Cog Hill, he's been staying at the camper, and now that we're at the camper, he's staying at the Cog Hill." That was just for one night, but it was a must-have. I mean, I felt so guilty for her being alone all day for what seemed like a week, that I told him, I said, I can't, I'm going to have to stay with her. I'm going to have to stay with her. And so he said, you stay with her, and I'll go back over there and do what needs to be done, finishing up touches and things like that. However, we needed a few more hours, but, I'm thankful that we were able to do that. I was able to be here with her.
And we still didn't get, we let the vacuum cleaners over there and the floor cleaners over there.
Put it all in the shop.
And set it all in the shop. Your mom had some plants that didn't get come over here, and we put those in the shop. And you went and got those yesterday?
I don't even know.
I don't even remember. The days are messed up. And we still got our deep freezer over there that we still got to get.
Well, as of today, I'm still paying the power bill. It'll be converted over to their name today. So I let them, have time to get in. And, you're coming from a state that's 49 states away, I guess you would say.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't want them to arrive without power or water or gas or internet, so I left everything on and in my name until they had ample opportunity to have it switched over. So yesterday I took care of calling all those utility companies and having it scheduled to be cut off today. That way she'd have enough time to switch it over, and so all that's taken care of. But the deep freezer is still there, and we have plans to take it and store it at your parents' house.
That's going to my mom and dad's house.
And then the day that we were going to put it in his mom and dad's house, we found out that the electricity that we thought was on in there may not be on.
Yeah, and couldn't find the key. My dad has a little office over there that he has set up, and my mom couldn't find the key to it, and Dad said she had the key. And
Speaking of that, do you still have that key?
I still got that key.
Do you
that
know
goes
where
to
it
the
is?
shed. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because we're going to need to do that soon.
Yeah, but it's not going in that one. It's going on the other one.
Well, so you don't have a key to that one?
I don't. He said it's unlocked. They unlocked it. I'm waiting on us to come in.
But we need to get a key to lock it back. That's for sure.
Correct.
Okay, so that's one more thing that's got to be done. And then on top of all this, we mentioned in a podcast that when our doors and windows come, that we have nowhere to store them. Well, all of y'all said, what about the barn? Can't you store them in the barn? The barn's massive. The barn doesn't have any electricity still, and we have all of our stuff from our barn, our shop, our house that we couldn't fit in the pods or in the camper in the barn.
In the barn. It's still plenty of room in there, but we were in such a hurry that at first we were trying to strategically put stuff. But here at the end, we were just putting stuff at the door. So you know what happened.
We blocked the door. We blocked the door to where it would take a day just about to move all the stuff to where we could put the doors and windows in there. And so, I knew it was coming. I thought it would be about 2 weeks. I thought it would be about 2 more weeks before the doors and windows come in, because as we told y'all.
And it's just the doors. The windows ain't come in yet, have they?
Oh, well. I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Okay.
So yesterday, my phone rings, and it's Brian over at Crossroads Building Supply. And he says, hey, your doors are in.
Yeah.
And I said, ooh, okay. I didn't say anything to him. And the next thing that I get from him is, do you have anywhere we can store them? Do you have anywhere to put them? And I said, well, I've got a spot in my barn, but I need to clean out. We need to clean it out. So I went out on about my business yesterday, but I was still thinking in my mind, we've got to get prepared for these doors, because he can't keep them for months on end. Right. He's already told me that. So we've been preparing, but we weren't prepared for somewhere to put them. So yesterday afternoon, I had a massive headache, and I just needed some relaxation time. So I got on my tractor, and I
did.
just started bush hogging. And this morning I'm better. But as I'm bush hogging, I get a text from him, and he says, "Hey," he said, "just let me know what you want to do with the doors." And I said, "Okay." So
Oh, me.
I called him back, and I said, "Hey," I said, "I'm gonna try to rent a storage building. I'll let you know first thing in the morning, what I'm able to find." And he said, "Okay, no hurry." He said, you can have till about the end of next week." Well, I'm the kind of person that likes to take care of things then, because if I put it off till next week, it'll be like when we moved out of the house.
Yeah.
It'll be all at one time, and I won't be able to take care of it. So he said, it's fine. You don't have to rush first thing in the morning. 7 o'clock this morning, I'm sitting outside, and I'm on the phone, and Jason says, "Who are you talking to?" And I said, "I'm trying to find a storage building," because I looked online last night, and there are limited companies that provide their information online. But the one that has a lot of locations did provide their information online. And you know what it said?
Booked up.
Waiting list.
Yeah.
Waiting list for
Waiting
every
list.
one of them. And I thought, this isn't good. Because we'd already told y'all we couldn't find a storage unit back when we didn't know we were going to use the pod.
Right.
There was nothing available. And so there's another company that owns a lot of buildings in this area. And first thing this morning, 7 o'clock, I was calling them. And I didn't anticipate that they would answer the phone, and he did. And I think it was the owner. And he said, "I don't have anything right now." He said, "But that could change." And I was like, "Okay." He said, "Call back about 9 o'clock this morning, and we'll see if anybody's cleaned anything out." I said, "Okay." I said, "Thank you so much. I'll call you back at 9 o'clock. About 45 minutes later, my phone rings. I answered it. I did not know who it was because, of course, I didn't recognize the number. And he said, "Miss Smith?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I've had a building come available. It's 10 by 12. I said, "I'll take it." Well, I hadn't even looked at it or anything. I didn't know any details. I just said, "I'll take it." And he said, "Okay, I won't be there, but the girls will be there after 8, and I'll put your name on it." And I said, "Okay." So I didn't think Marycarl would want to go with me this morning.
Right.
Really, she's been kind of hanging out here taking care of what needed to be done.
She has been.
But this morning, for whatever reason, she wanted to go with me. I was kind of thankful. Because I'm kind of tired of riding around by myself.
Yeah.
And anyway, long story short, I knew where the location was. I went over there, and they were so nice. So nice, because I've never rented a storage unit.
Yep.
I had no idea what I was doing. And so I needed my driver's license, filled out all this paperwork. You'd have thought I was adopting a child, as much paperwork as I had to fill out.
Really?
And they said, "Do you want to go look at it before you you reserve it?" And I'm thinking to myself, "No, I don't.
I need it.
I need it." So she gives me the keys, and she says, "It's this numbered where it is, I said, "Do I need to drive?" And she said, "I would, because I'm lazy." And I said, "Okay." I got tickled. I said, "Well, thank you for being honest." So I got in my car, and I drove, and I didn't need to drive, but I appreciated her telling me that she was lazy and she would drive.
Yeah.
I get over there, and Jason, I got a picture of it on my phone. I get over there to the unit, and I'm passing by all these ones on the way to it, and it's a little bitty one. It's a little bitty one.
Okay.
Can you see how big that door is?
Yeah.
Can y'all see that door? Okay, so the door's like 4 foot wide,
Oh, gracious.
but it's 8 foot tall.
Okay.
And so when you go inside, you can see that it's real tall.
Yeah.
It's like full size. See it?
Oh, yeah, it's
That's
really
the
tall.
roll-up door, and then it's probably 15 foot right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So I'm like, uh-oh. I'm glad she told me to look at this, because I don't think it's going to work. That
Uh-huh.
was my thoughts.
Yeah.
And so Brian over at the construction site, we text back and forth. It's just easy to do that. And I sent him a picture of it, and I said, "Hey," I said, "this is what the door looks like. Do you think this is going to work?" Well, he didn't answer me immediately, and I needed an answer immediately, because I'm thinking to myself, this might not work.
Yeah.
Our door for our front of our house is 8 foot tall.
Correct.
Which that door is
It's
8 foot
8 foot
tall, but I'm thinking they're going to have to cock it sideways, and it's not going to go through 4 foot.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I said, look, I said, did you get that picture I just sent you? He said, I didn't. I said, well, I sent you a picture of the door. I said, it's only like 4 foot wide, but it's 8 foot tall. And then when you get inside, you know, the space is pretty big. And he said, it'll work.
Okay.
He didn't look at the picture. He just said, it'll work. And I said, oh, thank God. I said, okay, that's all I needed to know. So I go back in. I tell the woman, I said, this is perfect. This is just what I need. And she had gave me this little rusted lock to take over. She said, if it's what you want, take the lock off and bring it back to me. I'm thinking that's my lock, you know. And I said, well, do I need to keep up with this lock? And she said, oh, no, ma'am. We're going to give you a shiny, pretty lock. And I said, okay. So she gave me 2 keys.
Yeah.
She gave me a lock. I went over. I locked my unit that had nothing in it. And I took the keys to Brian over at Crossroads Building. So I had a key and Brian had a key. And I just left it with him. I said, whenever they're going to take the doors over there to the storage unit for me. They're going to put them in there. And then I've got a key. If I want to go see them, I can. We'll look at them, whatever.
Right.
So I get back, and I needed to pay him for the doors, you know, because we're obviously taking delivery of them. And I said, well, what about windows? And he said, I don't know about windows. We'll probably be a while on windows. He said, let me look real quick. So he gets on his computer, and he looks at them. He said, windows will be here Monday. I'm
glad we got the storage unit.
Oh, my gracious.
Oh, me.
So windows will be here Monday. And I left Brian a key, and he said, we will take the windows as soon as they're delivered to me. I will take them off the truck and take them to the storage unit.
Perfect.
So I got to lay eyes on our front door. And we did go with fiberglass.
Yes.
Versus wood. I love the wood look. But Brian informed me that you could stain that fiberglass with the grain on it to look like wood.
To look like wood. And then we also read just hoodles of not messages, but hoodles of comments. And we're on a lot of these pages and sites about building right now. And 99% of everybody said just if it's going to be in the weather, and ours is going to be in the sun, even though it's going to be covered. Just a wood door just gets beat and it shrinks and contracts and it rots, and then, you know, some days it'll rub when it shuts. And so, you know, technology nowadays and all this stuff, you know, it's just so much different than it was when we originally built.
Yes.
And the fiberglass doors look like wood once they're stained, and that's what we went with. And so it's you know, it won't rot, it's more durable, and it won't have the, you know, shrinking and expanding like a wood door would. So
hopefully not. You know, our doors at our other place were masonite.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I was pleased with, but they were painted. They weren't, I guess you could have stained them, but they wouldn't have had a grain to it.
Right.
The garage doors that we ordered for our current house that we're building are pre-finished.
Yes.
And so they're a fiberglass, but they're like a pre-finished.
It's like a dark wood
on,
stain. Yeah.
It's dark walnut's what it's called.
That's right. Yeah.
And so Brian suggested that we do the fiberglass door, and just when we get the garage doors here, we can get a stain to match the garage doors and stain them all that same color.
It'll all match.
And it'll all match. Yeah. And I asked him this morning, I said, can I stain those doors myself? Because, as y'all know, we're do-it-yourselfers. I've painted all the doors in our previous home, and we've never hired a painter.
No,
never. Not to say we're experts, but we get the job done. And he said, well, I tell you, Brian's a perfectionist. He said, I got fiberglass doors on my house. He said, I bought that gel stain, which is what you have to use to stain a fiberglass door. He said, and I just wasn't satisfied with it. He said, but the thing is they're easy to wipe clean. He said, if you mess up, you can get you some mineral spirits and wipe it off. He said, so I ended up painting mine. Well, I don't want painted. I want, you know.
We want to stain it.
And I'm not saying, I don't know. I imagine if it was painted, you probably wouldn't know the difference if it was stained or painted, because it's got the grain there already.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll cross that bridge when we get. That's a long ways away.
Well.
But speaking of going to town and nice places and being treated nicely, you went to the post office and got our P.O. box today.
Well, Jason did all the P.O. box stuff online weeks ago. And we finally got an email this week that said, if you don't do it by such and such date, then we're going to cut you off.
Yeah, we had to go to the new post office and
Finalize
everything. We had to, ID and all that kind of good stuff. And so we just hadn't had time. We have not had time to do anything. I mean, we absolutely, that's the reason why we're so late. That's why we didn't do a podcast last week. That's the reason we only did one video last week. There was no possible way. There was just no possible way. We have been totally, and I mean exhausted. when we've been in it. And so the P.O. box has been put on hold, but you did get a P.O. box.
Well,
and I will put it in, and I'll start putting it everywhere. So it should be easy to find, because we've had so many people ask us, what is the new P.O. box? We would love to send you guys something. What's the new P.O. box? And speaking of sending us stuff, we have gotten a lot of gifts over the last 2 weeks, or maybe longer than that, but the last 2 weeks for sure, that we just hadn't had time to even to respond with thank yous. We just have not had time. I mean, we've hardly been on the computer, y'all keep up with us, and everybody keeps up with us on all the social media sites. I mean, we've posted nothing.
No, it looks like we're non-existent. We've had several emails that say simply, "Are you guys okay?"
Yeah,
we're okay.
We're okay.
We're not physically okay. We're tired.
We're tired,
but we're okay. We're okay, and I do think that probably starting next week even, I mean, I know that we're not going to be getting many gifts immediately, but I think we can start opening them.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that we can add Marycarl to that and let her, I mean, we've got this little camper.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of space, but I don't know why we couldn't sit them down right here. A lot of response was people wanted to see us open them.
We can even do that outside.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible now.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was possible before because we had to go upstairs, and then we had that room that was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel better about space. Even we're in a tight space, I feel better.
Yeah, well, we've spent, I don't even know what night this is now, how many days we've been here.
It's not night, it's day.
How many days we've been here, but once we walk outside the camper, it's just so spacious.
Yeah, it is. It's a different feeling. Not that the other way was bad. It's just a different feeling to walk out and be able to see all the animals and literally looking at them like they're smiling back at you.
Yeah.
We have videos that are coming about the move of the animals, so you just have to stay tuned.
You have to stay tuned because
I was told I can't talk about any of that because you guys haven't seen it yet. But
it's recorded. We just hadn't had time, or I hadn't had time to edit it.
Well, it starts very soon.
Yeah, they'll start coming out. I got one video edited pretty good. There's some surprises in.
Oh my gosh.
The whole.
And that's part of this
situation.
2 weeks being.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Oh, I just had to sit up.
Okay. I thought you needed your wallet or something, and I know where it is, but you don't.
It's
Matter
in the
of fact,
car.
your glasses were on the dash of the car, and they've been there for about a week.
Yeah, because I hadn't needed them.
Hey, you know what I got in the glove compartment of my car?
What?
I've got a new pair of glasses.
You know what? I opened that up because what happened the other day of us trying to get the other chicken coop here, and he's just sitting and waiting on you to come. I opened it up looking for a
Did you
mint.
try them on?
I did. And whoever had them glasses for me was blind as a bat. Because we bought me another pair of glasses. And we bought the frames off eBay. It was like, $35.
They were $30.
Bucks. Yeah, $30 for how much they were in the store.
They've got
$200.
a couple hundred.
Yeah.
They've got somebody else's prescription lens in there, which just pop out, and then they put the new lens in there when we go to get the prescription. But when I got them out of the mail, I looked through them like this, and I was like, I can see.
Oh, wow.
I felt like I could see.
Yeah, I put them on too, and I was like,
Did they
my
fit
gracious.
Okay?
Yeah, they fit good.
I'm not going to yell anymore. You don't have to cut it down.
Yeah, they fit good.
But yeah, they're in I put a set of keys in there this morning.
Okay.
And when I put them in there, I thought, ooh, I better not break those glasses.
You better not break the glasses.
I better not. But one day I'm going to get them taken to put your lens in there, your prescription. Hey, wonder where that went anyway. It was in my bedroom floor in an envelope that said primary eye care.
I know what box it's in, but I have no idea.
Is it in the pod?
No, I don't think we put that in the pod.
Oh, my goodness. That's his prescription.
That was the last little bit. I mean,
yeah, that was why I left it out, because I knew I needed it.
And that's what was happening to us at the end is we'd bring a carload over here, and 3/4 of it, no, not any of that. It'd be like 15% went into your mom's house, 15% went into the camper, 15% went into the barn, 15% went into the pod. It was just
Hey,
so hectic.
let me tell you
There's
something.
stuff everywhere.
Let me tell
here.
you something.
Everywhere piled up around here.
I went this morning, to run all my errands, and I go to open the door
Yeah.
to put Granddaddy's cobbler in there that I bought, and there is a 50-pound bag of Nutriberries, which is peanuts, bird food,
Yeah.
in the back seat of my car.
Not to mention, there was 100 pounds of bahia seed there until yesterday.
It was. I just set it out on the ground. I said, you know what? I said, this has got to come out of the car. So I set it down, and lo and behold, we had a use for it yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you put it out.
Oh, you talking about the bahia?
Yeah.
seed? I thought you were talking about the Nutriberries.
No.
Yeah, I did put the
Nutriberries are still in the
I
car.
didn't put all of it out. I ended up putting the rest of it in a barrel with a top, so they'll be halfway. But we'll put all the rest of it out pretty soon. And the first 2 nights we were here, we couldn't even walk in the camper. Absolutely, we couldn't sit down. We couldn't walk. All we had was the bed space.
Not only could you not walk in the camper, you couldn't walk in the tiny house either.
No.
Because the tiny house has 2 lofts on each side, and so we're using that for storage for stuff that we need to access.
Yes.
That doesn't need to be in the pod where we can't get to it.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll ever find anything we need. I honestly don't, but I think this is going to open my eyes that when we do unpack all this stuff from the pod, I'm going to be like this.
Throwing it away?
Throwing it away, because I have become a minimalist in a week.
It has been...
I wash my clothes
my
and I put them
gracious.
back on.
It's been nuts. It's been nuts.
And look, oh my gracious. We didn't video this, so I can talk about it. Are you ready for this?
I'm not going to have to edit this out or nothing, am I?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. But we're down to, we told our plumber, who's also our friend,
Yeah.
that we had to have the plumbing in the tiny house done by October the 1st.
Oh, yeah, this was the other thing, yeah.
We had to have the plumbing. Y'all remember when we got that tiny house? It's been here since September 1st, probably.
Yeah.
So...
And plumbing, I mean, there's no drains over there. There's no water. There's no nothing.
So
And
Jason's dad sent some guys over to get the electrical part.
They got the electrical
going.
in, that's right.
So we had lights, but we still didn't have any plumbing.
Right.
And we told our plumber friend, we said, he actually came over here.
He did. I made
The
him
middle
over
of
here.
September.
Yeah.
The middle of September. He came over here on a Saturday.
Yep.
And he looked at it and he wrote down everything that he needed to finish the tiny house plumbing out. And I told him, I said, look, it's all done in HPVC. Is that what
Yes.
you call it? CPVC.
CPVC.
Which is little tiny.
Which is usually common for hot water. Usually that's your
That's
hot
why
water
I called
side.
it HPVC.
But after doing research, it's really common in trailers or mobile homes or tiny houses. I don't know why.
So
but it's really common for cold and hot.
So that's what it was plumbed with.
Yeah.
And that meant that our plumber was going to have to adapt off of that to to PEX, which is
Yes.
what he uses to get the plumbing in. Well, he came that day and he looked at it and he said, if y'all don't mind, I'm probably going to just adapt it all to PEX and do
Yeah.
away with that CPVC.
That's right.
We're good. Whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. Just as long as we have it done by October 1st, middle of September now, when he came and looked at it. That last week of September, he was swamped.
Yes.
He
And
would.
we're an hour away from him.
Yeah, we're an
at
hour.
least
It's an
an hour
hour
away.
drive.
Yeah.
And so he was. It's going to take a day for him to do this job.
Yes.
Because the drain to the septic tank had to be ran. All the plumbing had to be redone. Anyway, it was a big deal. We knew it was a big deal. I mean, we knew it was going to be a big job. So he would text me and say, I'm going to have it done by Tuesday, or
Yeah.
I'm going to have it done by this day. Well, lo and behold, one day his truck broke down. And his truck is like a rolling plumbing store.
Yes.
He can't work without his truck.
Can't work without his truck.
So, I'm to the point where I'm thinking my trailer that I haul the tractor on is a car hauler. That's what it is. I'm to the point where I'm thinking I will drive my truck over there and put your truck on my trailer so we can get it here. That's how desperate I was.
Yes.
I literally thought that.
And we thought about calling to see if we could find another plumber.
I knew that was out of the question. Because with this COVID stuff, not only are things in short supply, so are maintenance people.
They are.
I mean, you can't get an electrician. Here, Katie Piper's parents were at their new place. They had literally had poop backing up in their house.
Yes.
And could not get a plumber.
That's crazy.
I mean, we got an abundance of plumbers in our area, but nobody was available.
Nobody was
Not
available.
even for a sewage backup.
Yes.
They ended up having to go rent a Roto-Rooter thing.
Really?
And do it themselves.
Wow.
Because the poop was coming up in their house. Don't edit this out.
I'm not.
It's real stuff. So, he tells me his truck's going to get fixed that next day. I can come tomorrow. Sends me a text 7 o'clock the next morning and said, my truck was fixed, but now it won't crank.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, it's October 2nd by now. The new people are starting their journey on October 4th. That was my deadline to be here, October 4th.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, look, just be honest with me. Do you think you're going to be able to do this?
Yes.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. I promise you. Well, I trust the guy wholeheartedly. He's a friend of ours. He's not going to tell me a lie.
That's right.
It wasn't that he didn't want to do it. It was just that things weren't lining up in his favor, and he couldn't control that. So I'm really starting to think, this ain't going to happen. This ain't going to happen. So Jason tells me, he says, look, he said, if this doesn't work out, I'll stay in the little camper, talking about this camper.
This camper here.
That does not have a bathroom in it. Your mom can stay in the camper part. You and Marycarl can stay in the other part of the big camper part until the plumbing gets done.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't even thought of that. I felt relief at that point. But I didn't want to have to do that.
No, but you know what happened, though? That's when the light bulb went off for me that if the plumbing gets done and it all works out, we have this whole nother camper that I ain't even thought about. And that's when I said, this can be the office. This can be the podcast studio now. That's when all that started going in my brain. That this can be where I can edit videos at night if I have to. I want to keep everybody awake.
Well,
this is perfect because we were originally going to do the podcast in the other camper on the dining room table there, and
we might be doing a podcast in December if that was the case.
So glad that kind of happened the way it did because it opened up this to being what it is. I think I eventually would have figured this out, and our brains were scrambled. So that's.
I had thought of everything I thought under the sun to figure out what we were going to do if that place wasn't plumbed by then. But it did not occur to me that one of us, Marycarl, I could have stayed with Marycarl in here. But Mama needed to be where there was a bathroom just because she couldn't come in and out of stairs in the middle of the night.
Yeah, no, that would have worked out perfectly. But he shows up the day.
The last day, the day we needed to be out.
Yeah, he shows up and got it done.
He showed up and he worked all day long. He got here at what time that morning? 8:30?
8:30, and
I
we
passed
left.
him. I was in the area that he lives in late that afternoon, and I passed him coming back into town.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew he was finished. And Jason was in and out of here. I was in and out of here. He sent me a text and he said, I got it all done. There was a package for y'all up at the gate, and I left it on the counter, and I was like, oh, thank God. Because, usually when somebody's doing service work, I try to stay around just to make sure they have everything they need. That was a time when I just said, if you need anything, you just going to have to call me.
Yeah.
Because I cannot sit and stay here. We were still moving stuff back and forth. We were in crunch time at that point.
We were in crunch time. We were even in crunch time moving stuff back and forth when the pods got picked up. And I stayed here and waited on the pod. I mean, just those couple of hours.
And it was raining. It was raining.
Oh, well, that was another thing. The week prior was that it rained 6 days straight.
It did, and we were wet and dry and wet, and it's a wonder we aren't sick.
We actually would grab. I had my raincoat, and we would just get soaking wet. We didn't care. And,
get soaking wet, and then we'd get dried back out, and we didn't change clothes. We just kept on in our wet clothes.
Yeah,
because we knew we were going to get wet again.
Yep.
And the biggest thing for me was knowing that the washing machine and the dryer was going to be in the tiny house. And I thought to myself, I don't even know where washateria is.
Yeah.
I thought, y'all remember me telling you that Jason was going to make me go to the washateria and wash clothes?
I would never do that.
Oh, no, but
Yeah.
we joked about it on the
Okay.
podcast. Do you remember that?
I don't.
I said that you're not worried about the washer and dryer because
Okay.
I'm the one that's going to have to go to the washateria.
Yeah.
So I was kind of, thinking, well, I mean, you do what you got to do. I would have gone to the washateria, but I wanted to be able to go wash my clothes when I got finished wearing them because that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, that is what we've been doing.
We've been taking them off, and I mean, literally, we just left out our necessities.
I mean, there were some days where I wore the same clothes 2 days in a row.
Jason started telling me that he was stinking, and and I didn't smell him, but I was probably
Oh, man.
stinking myself. I know what I was going to say.
What's that?
About Marycarl's birds.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing.
So, you want to tell about it, or you want me to? I don't shut up, so I don't mind talking.
Well, we worried about the birds and, where they're going to go and all that good stuff. But, they ended up working out pretty well.
He did. We were talking about initially putting her birds in this camper. That was our initial.
And originally, y'all thought y'all could double stack them or put all 3 cages on one side.
Well, originally we were going to keep them in their cages, their
Yeah.
original cages, and put them in here, in their cages,
in here.
remember?
Yeah.
And we thought that would be perfect, but nobody would be in here with them.
Nope.
We have to depend on this little portable air conditioner to
Yes.
keep them. Well, I mean, they don't have to have air conditioner, but they couldn't sit in here and burn up either.
No.
I mean,
And it's really, this would have been so tight. I don't even know if they would have fit in between the two seats
it wouldn't have
here.
been ideal, but it was
No.
what we were going to do.
Yeah.
Until we went to that rummage sale
And got the
that
stackable.
we said we were going to talk about in a podcast, but I'm not going to remember what happened during that sale by the time we get to
Well, we
talk.
did already talk about finding the stackable hamster cages.
Yeah, we found
Yeah.
stackable hamster cages. So Marycarl was thrilled with the idea that we could put her birds in these hamster cages and stack them on top of each other.
Yeah.
So she went ahead and she moved them all into the hamster cages while we were still at the old farm so they could get used to their surroundings before they were in their new cages in a new environment. And she did that, 2 weeks before?
Yeah, she wanted them to get used to the cage. But then we got over here with them,
We were going to put them in the office and stack them up.
and they wouldn't stack. They weren't going to stack. And then Marycarl kind of got freaked out a little bit because she didn't know
wanted her birds with her.
But that's a bunk room, and so there's literally 2 bunk beds on each side. There's 4 beds total in there, and one of them's a full. The rest of them are twins. And so I said, well, let's take the cushion off the other side.
I don't know where I was that day.
I don't either. And so it worked out. So all the birds ended up going in there just fine, and that's worked out pretty good. We haven't any issues with that at all.
That is her room. We
Yeah.
had initially said that would be the office.
Yeah,
But Jason and I are in the back part of the camper with is it a queen or a king bed?
queen.
Queen bed. And then Marycarl is in the office area with her birds. And yes, we have an air purifier, the big one, in there so she doesn't get any feather dander in her lungs and
Right.
stuff. And she's keeping it very clean. She has a little vacuum.
Yeah, a little vacuum
I don't know
cleaner,
what you call it.
like a dust buster.
That she she keeps it very clean. All the feathers are vacuumed up daily. And
Yes.
there hasn't been an issue so far. So she was so thrilled to see that Jason was able to take those mattresses out of those bunk areas, store them at his parents' house,
Yep.
and put the birds up on that
And
bunk.
put the birds up on the bunks. That's
We'll have to
worked
take
out
a
well.
picture of that and show.
We'll have to take a picture
Maybe
of
we
that.
could add it to a video.
Yeah, we probably will add that to the video and share everybody.
She says that, Mama, people love Zerk. People love Zerk because she has her Instagram. What is it?
MC Cog Hill Farm.
MC Cog Hill Farm. If y'all don't follow her on Instagram, you should do so because she puts some stuff that I don't even know what all she puts on there. I mean, it's monitored.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's monitored. It's a lot of
things that we don't put on video.
Well, and it's a lot of her birds. I would say 90% of it is Zerk and Peanut and Mondu. And it is monitored because it's your old account, so it's still attached to your phone. So
Yeah,
you
I
see
can-
everything that comes through there.
Yeah.
So it is monitored hard. And yeah, that worked out well. Another thing that has worked out well amongst all this chaos has been Greg and the site work. He
Greg
has been
owns-
a godsend. He owns or is part owner of Davis Family Construction, and that's who we hired to do the site work. And he's been more than site work. He's gotten chicken coops off. We keep adding stuff to the list.
He doesn't bat an eye. He just
He
does
doesn't
it.
bat an eye.
You know what?
What's that?
You know how I have to go over to the original Cog Hill today, and I'm going to see your granddaddy
Yes,
and pick
yes,
up a few things. You know what I said I was going to do?
What's that?
I'm going to Mark's Mart, and I'm getting him a cooler full of chicken swirls.
You need to, because he has just worked his tail off.
Don't let me forget to
over
do
here.
that.
I won't. He so awesome, and we've become friends now, and that we're so new to the area, and if I have any questions, I usually ask Craig now.
Yeah, Jason sent him a text Saturday morning or Sunday morning and said, "Where's a good place to buy meat around here?" Well, about that time, Jason's phone rang, and I'm like, "Who is that?" And he said, "Oh, it's Greg."
Greg.
He didn't want to text it all, so he just called me and was telling me some places that I could buy some meat to cook out.
But he is like I said, we keep adding stuff. We got an area that we want to turn into a fruit orchard, and he cleared that all for us. Got all the trees off that we didn't want. We kept a few oak trees.
It was just too cluttered with different species of trees.
It was, and then
I'm all for the environment. I don't want to take a tree out unless it's necessary, and don't think that we're
replanting with trees.
Yes.
So it's not like we're going into
So we left some of the mature trees that can grow into.
Yeah, and they'll be slow growing, so they won't shade
hinder.
out the fruit trees.
Marycarl told me the day that I told her that we were going to get Greg to clear out for a fruit orchard over there. She said, "Mama, what trees is he taking down?" I said, "Well, we told him to take everything down." Mama, she said, "You go back over there and you mark those oaks, because those trees won't even be mature by the time we're dead.
Yeah.
And you need to leave those oak trees."
So we did that. So we took Marycarl's advice and we did that.
We left some that will have ample opportunity to grow into big mature trees. Not in our lifetime, she told me.
Yeah, they're oaks. They'll take a little while.
But I thought to myself, for an 11-year-old to be telling me
that,
to not cut all the trees because they need to be able to grow and mature, and they're not going to get in our way in our lifetime. They won't get in our way, Mama.
She was right.
She is right. She is right. And I'm glad she said that, because Laura, our friend at Simply Making It,
Yes.
she sent me a text one day after we started initially planning this farm, and she said, "Look," she said, "I'm not trying to sound like a know-it-all." She said, "But my biggest piece of advice to you is to, when you're out there and you're bush hogging and you're thinking about your future of your farm, don't cut every tree down out there."
Yeah.
She said, because she said the worst thing they did is when they were planting their land, they went in with a bulldozer and they bulldozed every tree down. And she said, here we are replanting, and we won't see those trees during our lifetime.
Yeah, and I will say again, the only trees we got rid of was stuff that was
scrap, I guess you would call it.
It was like
in the way.
3 trees growing together. It was some trees that were like this, they were going to eventually are diseased. So we got rid of it. They needed to be gone.
They did. We
so
had that area
well.
mulched because we completely intended on keeping it wooded.
Yeah.
But as we looked at where our house was going to go and what our view was going to be.
And then plus visiting Tracy at Just Dig It Farms and how they had their fruit orchard set up.
Yes. And Tracy said that she'll come help us with the planting stages. And I'm getting kind of antsy.
Don't got to pull the reins back.
I don't want to go.
Greg said he has to come in and smooth it out.
He's going to do that.
He's going to do that.
In the next couple of days.
He is.
When I give him those chicken swirls, he's liable to be out there burning the midnight oil trying to get it.
I tell you, and he comes up with great ideas. It's not like that he's doing his job and is trying to get out. He's like, this bank over here, if you want me to, I can give y'all more room and I can cut this bank back.
And believe me, he's got work to do. He wants things to be done correctly.
He does want things to be done correctly.
You know what the best idea I think he had was?
The driveway?
The driveway.
He did. It's great, and it's hard to explain, but he's got a great idea for the driveway, and he's worked on that. And this out here, I don't. If we got a before picture, I'm sure we do. I have to go back and look.
I started
don't
thinking,
think people are going to remember what I'm waving my hand because I'm looking towards the paddocks. And we couldn't see the paddocks before because there was a row of pine trees there that were just really, really close together. And the thing about pine trees is they get those pine beetles so fast here. And anyways, this was out front where our house is going to be built. And it dropped straight off. We're having to jump that big hill to go to the animals, and
we had a row
he
of
said,
center
I can
blocks.
make this big, I can make this area so much bigger. We can swing out and drive in the paddocks now.
At first I thought to myself, the charm of this place when we initially looked at it was those pines on each side of the driveway. But then the more I got to looking at it, I was like, you know what? This ain't so pretty.
It's really not, because they were so close together. And then when I thinned them out,
it was just a drop off.
It was a drop straight off. It was useless. I mean, you couldn't do anything with it. It was absolutely, all it could be was a driveway. Even the power pole situation, if we'd have left that bank there, it would have been bad, because it would have been right up against the pasture.
Exactly.
All that's changed. And Greg told me that, and I was like, man, and it took him, what, an hour, if that, to clear.
He wanted like $100 more to do that. And
just clear it all out.
It just happened, like it was the best money we ever could have spent.
And then it's still topsoil out there. And I would just have to show everybody in a video. And he's like, just throw some grass seed out. And we had some. And I threw that out. And he said, I'll come back in the next day or two, and I'll run my roller over it. And that way, when it rains, your grass seed won't go away. Just little stuff like that. It's just so awesome.
But before we really even knew him very well, you would do most of the communicating with him, whereas it has been in the past that I'm the one that does all the communicating. So I'm very proud of you for opening up and being able to take care of some things that I don't know about. I mean, I feel like you're doing so much better at talking to him than I would be.
And that,
not that I'm scared of him. I don't mean that. It's just that.
And I talked to a contractor yesterday.
Yes, I was so proud of you.
And that went well too. And
we'll get into all that in another one. But when my point was that when you started talking to Greg, y'all really didn't know each other that well. And he suggested, I'm thinking instead of y'all just having a straight shot for your driveway to your house, to let's kind of curve it around and make it, come over by the potential pond area, and it would just give you another option.
And the way his thinking is because if y'all remember our house, I thought he was going to build that house site up real high and had to bring dirt in and all that, and he didn't. He just started cutting the banks, and it's just hard to explain.
It is hard to explain.
But it kind of goes down and then back up again.
Yeah.
And that little dip, you would have to drive in some kind of way. So the way he suggested it is already gradually and already been cut out. So it's going to come right into the house site.
It was almost like it was an old road bed there.
It was.
But it needed some work. And I'm not so sure that we couldn't use that once he gets out of here.
Yeah, I think so too.
To drive and park our vehicles over there instead of parking over here by the camper.
I will say this, the house site just looks like it's massive. It's
awesome. Well, I got a lot to do today.
That's the thing is we're moved and we're over here, but this place is it's a madhouse.
So this morning I first went and got the storage unit.
Yeah.
I left there and I went to where did I go after I left there? I went to Brian's and took care of giving him the key and everything, and he showed me my doors. And then I left there and I went to it's called Pies by Mike.
Yeah.
It's in Clanton, and I thought I'd get Granddaddy a pie.
Right.
Because that was just I think Marycarl must have wanted some pie because she suggested
it.
So we go over there, and they don't open till 1 o'clock today.
Yeah.
So pie was out of the question, and I was like, we got all these peach places around here.
Lots
I bet
of
I could
peach
get a
places.
cobbler of some sort. So then I left there, and I went to the post office, and I opened up the P.O. box.
Right.
That went very smoothly. I was anticipating a nightmare, but they were so nice, so helpful. If I had my little sheet printed off, it would have went just like that.
Yeah.
So
and I think I printed that sheet out, but
goodness,
that was the week before we moved.
knowing where that sheet is
Or 2 weeks before we moved, yeah.
So then I left there and where did I go? I went from
Peach
there
Park.
To Durbin's. I went to Durbin's because it was first. And then I decided that I needed to come back here and possibly get Marycarl started on her schoolwork, which she's doing while we're recording this podcast. The dogs. We've been taking the dogs in and out on a leash.
Yeah, the dogs. I will say that I was worried about the dogs big time, and that's been a relief.
You were worried about the little dogs.
The little dogs, big time. I mean, I worry about everything. I worry about the big dogs, little dogs.
But we're taking Arlo doesn't have to be on a leash. He goes out with us and stays right beside us.
Right.
But Gidget, who's my Pomeranian, and Dixie, who is our old Shih Tzu, they need to be on a leash. So we're hooking them up to their harnesses and walking them around the premises several times a day. Because at our old house we had a doggy door.
Yeah.
And we had a fence, so they went in and out on their own. So that's been a big chore to have to.
It has been a big, and I tell you, the worst part is first thing in the morning because I want coffee, but we got to walk the dogs, and it may take them 5 minutes. Like yesterday, it was like 30.
Well, this morning you were standing at the coffee thing with a thing of coffee in your hand, and I said, Jason, will you help me get the dogs hooked up? And your face was like, I need coffee first. But you went ahead and you put your coffee down and you came on out.
I did.
Marycarl ties the two of them together.
She does tie 'em. I don't know how she did that.
I can't tie them both together.
I don't have to tie 'em.
It's so funny. The first night we were here, you said, how does Gidget, I told Marycarl this morning, you said, how does Gidget do on a leash? And I said, she does really good.
That's what you told me. How great Gidget was on a leash. She's so good on a leash.
So Jason gets Dixie and gets her on the leash, and I get Gidget, and we come outside on the leash. I got very tickled.
She's attacking the leash.
She's literally hanging from the leash while she's fighting it.
Just going nuts.
And I thought to myself, I just told him that she did
told me
good
how great she was on the leash. How bad Dixie was, but how great Gidget was.
I got tears in my eyes. I'm laughing so hard.
It was funny. You just have to see it. If y'all have Pomeranians, you know what we're talking about because, she turns into Cujo.
She I don't know why I told you she was good on a leash. I guess I wanted things to seem all rosy on the outside, but
she does the same thing with the bath mat in the camper bathroom, and then she'll get and there's a gap in this of the door from the floor, and she'll take that little paw and she'll ease that
she's
mat
trying
out.
to pull that bath
and if
mat
she gets
out.
that mat out,
She just shakes her head with it.
Just attacks the bath mat.
I told Marycarl this morning, I said, your daddy asked me how she walked on a leash, and I told him that she did good. And Marycarl looked at me, and she said, Mama. And that was all she said. We didn't argue about it or anything. I don't know why I told you she did good on a leash, because she really doesn't do.
She really doesn't do. Yeah, you know why you say she thinks she does good on a leash? Because she weighs 1.5 pounds, and you can't feel her pull.
Can't feel her pull, but when she's hanging from that leash trying
It's funny because all her feet are off the ground. She's literally hanging with her mouth clenched to that leash, shaking her head in midair.
Yeah, she's not good on a leash.
She's not good on a leash.
So we're going to work on trying to get a little fence area.
Yeah, we're going to work on trying to get a little fence area. Oh, we got so much we got to do, y'all.
I bought this.
The list is
This is
huge.
funny. This is funny. If I don't say it right now, I'm going to forget about it. So before we left, I was trying to plan for the dogs. I was trying to plan for Peaches. I was trying to plan for everybody. Yeah. And this girl that I'm friends with on Facebook, she had this, I don't know what you call it, garden fence, portable fence. Anyway, she had it for sale. And I thought, that'd be good for the dogs.
Perfect
was
for
my
the dogs.
initial thought. And so I told her I wanted it, and I went ahead and paid for it because I didn't know when I could go pick it up, and I wanted her to know that I wanted it. So I paid for it. And I went back and looked at my post to see where I was supposed to pick it up. And when I did, I realized I'd bought a 2-foot fence.
Yeah, you thought it was a little bit taller than that, but it's only 2 foot tall.
It's only 2 foot tall. So Marycarl went with me to go pick it up from the girl's house. And we laughed and laughed and laughed when we picked it up because it was literally, it was 2 foot tall. And you know, I kind of kicked myself. I was like, I shouldn't have bought that. But then we decided we could use it for peaches, or we could use it for silkies or something. So, lo and behold, the more we thought about it, the more we realized that our dogs don't really jump. They just need a perimeter. So we thought, you know, that will work for them. Yeah. So we could put it right outside the camper and sit out there with them.
Right, be out there with them.
Supervised and not have to have them on the leash. And so we decided we were going to put it up. We went to where it was, and the pins are missing.
Can't find the pins, and the pins connected together and staking in the ground, and we've looked everywhere.
All we can figure is that we left it over where Greg did his bulldozing work, and they bulldozed the pins over.
That, or it could be in the barn. If it's in the barn, good luck.
I don't know where those pins are, but now we're thinking we're just going to put a few posts in the ground and put us a fence up. We got to have a gate too, though.
Yeah, it won't be that big a deal. Just put a few posts in the ground.
Nothing's a big deal to Jason until it's the last day of moving and you realize how much is left to do. Then it becomes a big deal.
Well, the only thing now that I'm stressed out about is that, you know, and I can't do that. You know, I tell you all the time, and that's what we got to do. We got to focus on one thing and get that one thing done. But, you know, the peacock enclosure isn't ready yet.
Yeah.
The hot wire around the whole paddocks isn't done yet. The pigs need to be moved and done yet.
But, you know, we've come up with solutions. Bear slept with the chickens last night, which he was fine with.
Right.
So there was no way a predator could get in there and get a chicken with Bear in there. I remember at one point during this week, I looked at Jason and I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I feel like I'm going to throw up."
I did.
And I think the anxiety had just gotten so much of him. And the timing that he told me he was feeling anxious, I was feeling really good at the time. Yeah. It was not a situation that made me anxious at all. Yeah. But it did him. And so we have to counteract each other. You know, during all that time when I told you my stress level was a 10 and yours was a 1, yours needed to be a 10, but it wasn't, and I'm thankful for that because we were able to balance each other out. If we had both been in a 10, do you know what would have happened?
Oh, yeah, it would have been crazy.
It would have been crazy. Yeah. And I'm going to tell y'all, during all this, there has not been an argument between us. There has not been any you know, foul words with each other.
Any regrets?
No, there's been nothing that's happened that we, you know, we just realized that what has to be done, and tomorrow the sun's still going to come up. Yeah. So there's no point in worrying about what you can't control. Yep. You know, people might think, oh, they act like they get along so good. Well, we do, because we make it work, and that's what you have to do in a situation like that. You just have to realize that even though I was up here, that he was down here, and it was all going to even out, and it did.
It did even out, and it was the other day before yesterday, I think, when I told you that I don't
think you can even hear you talking because
I didn't feel good. Yeah, I didn't feel good. I was not feeling good that day at all.
You told me that you thought that you were going to throw up, and I knew right then. I was like, that's not like him at all. And I immediately told him, I said, this is not a situation that makes me nervous at all. Yeah. And I just kind of took over, and we made it work.
Yeah, we did make it work.
You know, you just kind of have to realize that things that you can't control, don't fuss about it.
And plus, too, how different things stress different people out.
Yeah, you know, I mean, totally, because the time that I was stressed and that I didn't sleep at night was when I was anticipating what was to come. Yeah. When it actually got there, I wasn't that stressed. I just knew what had to be done at that point. It's the planning that gets me. And you're the action that gets you. It's when it's actually happening.
Yeah, it's when it actually happened, and it just depends on what it is, too. It just depends on what it is.
Well, nonetheless, I think we're back.
We're back. I was a little anxious recording this just right off the bat.
We'll go sit outside, do the next one. I'm not anxious.
It's done. I threw this together this morning, so
we'll
see how it turns out.
For goodness sakes, we got a picnic table over there.
Oh, yeah, we can start doing it outside.
We can put it right out here and do it outside.
If the air conditioning's too loud, I listen to it in the thing, and you can hear the air conditioning. I know you guys can hear it, but I ain't got no choice. And
Well-
I wanted to, and we wanted to record a podcast.
We wanted to record
Yeah.
a podcast, so I do think that if we continue to do it in here, you're going to have to speak up a little bit because I'm watching that thing.
Oh,
and
well, I
you're-
didn't
you're-
start doing that until that when you were talking about being stressed, and that's
Oh,
when that
okay.
happened. Yeah.
Okay. Well, regardless,
Yeah.
I want you to tell me right now
Uh
what day the next one's supposed to come out.
huh. So
I'm going to tell you right now, today is Tuesday.
Tuesday.
When's the next one need to come out?
we decided we were going to do this one tonight. So I will get
No,
this
no.
one
I
out.
don't want to know about
Well,
this
I
one.
got to do this one first.
Well, what was our original
So-
schedule?
Our original schedule was Thursday and Sunday.
So guess what?
What?
We're recording another one tomorrow night.
Okay.
So we can get back on our Thursday schedule. This one's just
Thursday.
going to be an extra one.
Okay, we'll do that then. That won't be no big deal.
That's
Then we can go back Thursday and Sunday. That's on YouTube, and then it's the next day on Facebook. YouTube's
Wednesday.
the day prior.
Wednesday night. We're going to record another one.
Okay.
I promise you, we're going to
We
record.
will.
I'm going to set it right
and it'll
now.
be cool when the air conditioning.
No, we're going to do it outside.
Okay.
It'll be dark outside. We'll just have our
Be fine.
campfire.
Yeah. Campfire.
and who knows?
Yeah.
But we're going to get back on a normal schedule, and I'm going to make
We
sure
are going to get back on normal schedule, and our vlogs will be back on our normal schedule.
because we need you guys, and that's what makes our income, and that's what makes us happy is just being able to
share everybody, share it,
to
our
share with
experience
everybody.
with
So we need to get back on a regular schedule.
we
so
do. I haven't even picked up a camera in
it's been a long time. Every video that you see from
a week ago,
well,
pretty much.
yeah, but I'm saying from this point on will still be previous because it's
Yeah.
going to be us moving our animals.
Yeah.
We're gonna after the series. Is the chicken moving the last video?
Chicken moving is the last video.
All right, so that'll be Saturday, right? That video will be a Saturday YouTube video.
Gosh, I don't know how much we get. I have to look. Yeah, just say that Saturday.
And then after that, the next Wednesday should be on the new farm.
We'll be on the new farm.
Regardless, we're going to shoot a podcast on Wednesday night, have it back on Thursday.
Nope. Chicken night video is not the last video. Peach is being moved.
We didn't video that.
Yes, we did.
We videoed once. Okay. Okay.
We did video Peaches.
So we got 3 videos before we video on
Yeah.
the Cog Hill. But we're here.
We're here.
We're here. In body, we're here. I got to go.
We're here.
I have to tinkle, so I gotta go. I drank the entire bottle of water,
see
so
that.
I need to go.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Y'all be good.